Alright, so welcome to my tutorial for Breakout from Mr. Lemoncello's library, which is a book. The book is entitled Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's library. It's by Chris Grabenstein, and it's about some kids who have to break out of the library. So I thought, oh, this is perfect. So I have my main box, and on the main box, or in it, I have some prizes. And I also put this, reading is the key to success. I talked to the kids about making sure they don't stop reading over the summer and how important reading is, and to go to their public library to do summer reading programs. I had the hasp on there. I hid the key. It's somewhere in the room, wherever, doesn't really matter. They had the key lock, a directional lock, the 4-digit lock with the combination 5276, and then also the 5-digit number lock, or word lock, sorry, and the combination for it was spell. I wanted to do Dewey, but unfortunately you can't use that combination because the letters aren't there on mine, so I had to choose something that was somewhat close, so I chose spell. All right, so those would all go on the hasp, and then this would sit out. There's this letter that is left for them. I originally titled this Escape from Mrs. Williams's library because I'm a library teacher and my name is Mrs. Williams, and so I thought it was fitting, but for Breakout EDU I changed it to the Mr. Lemoncello. So this is in the digital file with Mr. Lemoncello on the bottom. I did want to point out this clue at the bottom. It says to find a place to enter a code 811, and all the classes missed it because they weren't looking at the fine print, which is exactly what I intended. So some of them, it took a long time before they would find that one. So then that would unlock this combination, which is 811, and this box I hid in the poetry section because 811 is the Dewey for poetry. And inside here I have my UV flashlight, and I have a worksheet that I created. It's for the directional lock, and it goes with the pictograms, which we'll talk about here in a minute. And this is also in the digital file. So that was just hidden in the poetry section for them to find, and then once I got that open. Another box that I have here is I have the metal 3-digit built-in combination lock, and it is 027, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. And inside there is the batteries for the UV light and a cipher wheel, which I got off of the Breakout EDU website. Okay, on a different table, I have these overdue slips sitting out. I laminated everything because with me doing this with so many different classes, I was afraid of things getting torn up or ruined or written on. So I went ahead and laminated everything, and then I can use it again in a few years when some of the kids have changed out and grown up. All right, so they're all basically just distractors except for the one that has, you would highlight the 027 call number. Its title is B is for bookworm. You could basically change this to any book you have. This was just one that I knew I had that I could make work. And here it says, student says it was returned, look on the shelf. So that was kind of a clue for them to go look on the shelf. We've been talking a lot about how to find books using Dewey, and so that was a chance for them to kind of practice that a little bit. The 027 is highlighted. That unlocks that built-in small pencil box or medical box. That so that was the clue for that. All right, so using the overdue slip, then they came over here and they found the B is for bookworm book, and then they would find inside it that there was a secret code slip, and when they used the cipher wheel on it, then they would solve that. It says the code that you seek is spell, and then that was the combination to the 5-digit lock. This is in the digital file. Make sure though that you put at least one of the letters on there. It doesn't have to be the T, but any of the letters on there so that they at least have some idea of how to set the cipher wheel. Okay, so once they had the 2 small boxes with 3-digit combinations opened, that gave them the UV flashlight. And then I had this paper kind of hidden underneath a table, and then they would come and they would find it, and they would figure out they needed to shine the UV flashlight on it, and it highlights 4 of the numbers and also tells you first, second, third, and fourth. Then they knew that that was the 4-digit combination to the padlock. Okay, so this was a puzzle that I created. It has a quote on it from Mr. Lemoncello from the book, and it talks about windows in a library, and it's just a distractor, but it was a good distractor because then the kids thought that they needed to look around the windows for something. I hid all of the pieces except for a couple of them, which I left on the table so that they knew to go look for the puzzle pieces. All right, so I also put out a few other things. The calculator is a distractor. The magnifying glass is also kind of a distractor, but if they needed to, they could use it to read the fine print on the OneNote. And then I always put out paper and pencil just so they have a place to write down things if they need to. All right, so this is the pictogram puzzle. As you can see, I have 4 pictograms. 3 minus H is tree. Hooks minus H plus B would be books. Y plus an ear is year, and then I and ball would be eyeball. So then they had to realize that they had to not only solve those, but it applies to this. And the one I give them is blank, obviously, in the box, but I wanted to show you kind of what it looks like when they did it. So I kind of wrote in some arrows down here because I wanted them to know they couldn't go diagonally. They could only go up, down, right, left. And it was kind of fun because they all thought that was the code. And I had to keep telling them, no, that's not it. You can't try the lock. I make it so that they have to ask me before they try the locks so that we don't have them all fighting over the locks. So they have to figure out they have to start here, and that they can only go up or right, and they want to use one of the pictograms. And so looks and T and ear and 3 are not a choice. So the only one they could go to was eyeball. So they go up to eyeball. Then they can either do T or looks or beach ball or tree. Tree is the only one that is a pictogram. So they go over there, and then they figure out, well, they can't use one of those, so it's got to be year. And then they go over to books, and they've completed it. And so now the combination is up, right, up, left. All right, so that should open all of the locks. And my 3rd through 5th graders that I did this with, they all were successful, but it did take them between 20 to 25 minutes to do. And most of my classes are average between 18 to 22 kids, and I only have the 1 set. So they did pretty good about dividing themselves up. I kind of split it up between all of the tables, so it just seemed like a lot of the kids would naturally gravitate towards one area. All right, well, I hope this video helps. If not, you can email me or and I will try to help you as best I can. Thanks.